Yeah, okay.
Hello, good morning, class. Today we will be learning about introduction to computer file. In our previous lesson, we learned about how to create file using MS Word application. So today we are going to delve into the computer file we have. Okay. By the end of the lesson, pupils will be able to A. Explain computer file. B. State at least 3 examples of computer files. C. Identify at least 3 types of computer files. D. Explain the attributes and identify 3 files attributes. E. Explain file extension and state 3 examples of file extension.
3.
Okay. A computer file is a resource used for recording data on a computer storage device. So examples of computer files: text files. So a text file is the most basic type of computer file. It contains character data such as alphabetical letters and numerical values. Text files are created using text editors like Notepad, WordPad, or Microsoft Word. Another example of computer file is image file. An image file stores visuals data such as pictures or graphics. Examples include JPEG, that is Joint Photographic Expert Group, PNG, Portable Network Graphics, and others. So the next example of computer files is audio files. The audio file holds sounds data include music or voice recordings. Formats like MP3, MPEG, 1 audio, layer 3, etc. As we continue with the file system, we have another sub area of the file system, that is type of files. The type of files, example of type of files: archive and compressed files. We have under archives and compressed files, we have 7Z compressed archive files created by 7-zip program. We have APK, that is Android package format for Android apps. So the other file types we have is RAR, that is RAR archives as a file type. The other file type we have is zip as a file type. So we move to another sub aspect of file type, which is the image format. So the image format as a file type includes BMP, which is bitmap image. We have GIF, we have JPEG, we have PNG, and we have SVG as a file type. As we continue with the lesson on the computer files, the other aspect of the files that we are going to talk about is audio and video formats. So under audio and video format files, we have FLAC, MP3, MP4, MAV, AVI. They are the examples under the audio and video file formats. So under we have another aspect of the file system you have, it is document format. And the examples of document format, they are PDF, docs, RTF, and TXT. They are examples of files format and documents. So you are going to continue with the lesson by watching a video that includes a brief tutorials about the file type that we've learned right now, and some pictures that will actually show the image of the file types and how they look like. So watch the video that follows.
In order to accomplish any kind of real project on a computer, it's important to have a solid understanding of file management. Let's start with the fundamentals. No matter what operating system you're running, whether it's Windows, Mac OS, or Linux, all data on a computer is stored as files. A file is basically a chunk of a certain kind of data. There are many kinds of files, including video files, audio files, image files, text files, and many, many more. In order to keep files organized, we use folders. A folder on your computer is just like a real-life folder. It's a place you can put files to separate them into groups that make sense. Every folder has a folder name, and every file has a file name. The file name serves a couple purposes. The first purpose is to help you, the user, identify what that file is about. So if you wrote an essay about climate change, for example, you might name that file Climate Essay. The second purpose of the file name is to help the computer recognize what kind of file it is, so that it knows what program it should use to open it. There's a special part of the file name that is used for this purpose. It's called the file extension. At the end of every file name, there's a period, and then letters or numbers that come after it. Those letters or numbers are the file extension. The file extension is very important because without it, the computer doesn't know what kind of file it is or what to do with it. It's good to keep this in mind when you rename a file, because if you accidentally change or remove the file extension, your computer might not be able to open it anymore, and you'll have to rename it again and put the file extension back in order to fix the problem. Let's look at some common file extensions grouped by category. We've got some that are for audio, some are for video, some that are for images, some that are for a variety of types of documents, and then a few other important ones. This may look like a lot, but in reality, there are actually many, many more. You may be wondering why there are so many file extensions. Why are there a dozen different formats just to store one kind of data? The answer is that even though they may store the same kind of data, they do it differently. For example, among the audio formats, some are uncompressed, meaning that the audio is high quality but takes up a lot of space, and some are compressed, meaning that they sacrifice a little bit of quality in order to take up less space. One of the most common compressed formats that you'll probably recognize is MP3, and one of the most common uncompressed formats is WAV, or WAV. A similar comparison can be drawn between some of the image formats. For example, a PNG, or PNG, is higher quality but takes up more space, while a JPEG sacrifices some quality for smaller size. Another reason for the length of this list is that many programs have their own specific formats and file extensions. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Adobe Acrobat and Adobe Photoshop are just a few examples shown here. All of these file extensions may seem a bit overwhelming at first, but there's no need to know all of them. The ones that are important to your specific work will soon become familiar. That concludes this video. In the next one, we'll take a hands-on look at working with files and folders in an operating system.
Continue with the lesson with file attributes. File attributes are settings associated with computer files that grant or deny a certain right regarding how a user or operating system can access that file. So these attributes describe and modify the file behavior. So here are some common file attributes we have. So 1, read only is the file attribute. When read only is set on a file, it indicates that a file should not be altered. That is one aspect of read only attribute of a file. The next one is archive. Archive indicates that the file has changed since the last backup operations. The next one, which is hidden, as an attribute of a file, marked the file as a hidden. So by default, tools like File Explorer do not display hidden files. So when the file is given an attribute as hidden, it will not be visible on the computer system. So the next one, attribute is system. So the systems identifies critical system files necessary for proper computer operation. So another attribute for the computer system file is system, as it covers the operating system of the computer. We continue with the lesson. From the file extensions, we move to from the previous explanation we did. Now we are moving to another aspect, which is file extension. Now, what is file extension? File extension is the suffix added to the name of a computer file. It helps identify the file type or format. So the file extensions have the various aspects and rates. The first one is text file format. So the text file format has an extension like .txt. The next one is .rtf. The next and the file extension is .docs, and the other one is .csv. So another file extension in the computer system is image file format, and under image file format extensions we have .jpeg, we have .png, we have .gif as file extensions under image, and under audio file format we have file extensions like .mpeg, .mp3, etc. We continue with the file extensions, and the other file extensions we have, they are the program files formats, and the program file format extensions are C, we have Java, .java, that we have .py, which is Python, .java is for Java programming, .c is programming language, that's source code. So we have other file extensions under compressed archive file format, which is .zip, .rar, .tar, and the other aspect of the file extensions we have is web page file format, and the extensions and the web page format are .html and .css. They are file extensions and the web page file format. So briefly, those are lessons that we wanted to learn today.
Hi and welcome, students. In today's video, I'm going to be going over computer fundamentals and talking about file extensions. I'm going to show you what file extensions are, and then I'm going to go into how to view the file extensions on your own computer. Let's go ahead and get started. So each file has its own file extension. It's usually a 3 to 4 letter identifier found at the end of each file name. So for instance, if you save a file, it'll be the name of that file, then a period, then the 3 to 4 letter identifier. Extensions tell you what type of file something is. So if you see one like the one on the PowerPoint slide, it says JPEG, that's a JPEG file, and if you ever see .jpeg after a file name, you know that it's an image. Okay, so moving ahead, here's some more examples of file extensions. So my channel does mostly Microsoft Office tutorials, and you'll see that in Microsoft Word, after every single file you create, it says .docx, and that lets you know that it's a Word 2016 file. It's .xlsx for Excel, .accdb for Access, and .pptx for PowerPoint. So if you ever see an older version of Microsoft Office, you're going to notice that the X at the end of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint is not there. And so that lets you know that it's an older version of Microsoft Office. So now what I'm going to show you how to do is how to find the file extensions on your own computer. So let me go ahead and show you these files right here. And so we have 11 files in this kind of gallery here. Now, just by looking at these images, you could tell what some of the files are, but only if you're familiar with the types of files. So for instance, I know this is a Word file because I can see the Word document right there. But as we move through, this looks like a PDF right here, but we see these two down here. These are just images, but I don't know if they're a JPEG, I don't know if they're a PNG, I'm not really sure. So what I need to do is I want to show you guys how to actually show your file extensions. And so the way that you do that is you open up File Explorer right down here, and again this is in Windows 10, And right down here, if you open up File Explorer, it'll open it up. I know that those are located on my desktop, so I click there. So you would just go to whatever file or storage location that you know the file that you want to find is. And so I see the files right here. Now I can't really tell a lot about what the files are from this view in File Explorer. So I actually have to change my view. So one of the things that I do is I go right up here to the View tab and I click that View button. Okay. Now I like to have this gallery of tabs always showing because I do use this area. So first thing I do, I go right over here and I click this little pin right here, and that actually pins the ribbon so that it won't go away. So now it's locked up here. So even if I click down here, all of this will stay up here. Next thing I want to do is change the layout of how these files are displayed, and I want to change that to details. Okay, details is very nice because it'll give me the name of the file, the date modified, the type of file, and the size of the file. So I can tell what type of file it is from right here, and that again has to do with the extension. But if I want to see, for instance, what is an Excel extension or what is a PNG extension or anything like that, I could go right up here to the Show Hide group, again within the View tab here, Show Hide group, and I click this right here, File Name Extensions, and I click it to turn it on. And then you'll see all of the file extensions will appear after the file name. Now most of the time I leave this off because I know what types of files are on my computer, but when I do need to find the file extensions, I click that checkbox right there. By default this is off, and again you can find this in the View tab, the Show Hide group, and the file name extensions. The only downside of showing the extensions is it adds extra letters to